Guys, I've got a lot of videos coming out that are going to express this sentiment in some other esoteric way, but I want to be very direct about this. Watch old anime. If you are someone who hasn't seen a show you really like in a while, go watch old anime, because you can escape entirely from the trends of what is currently going on in animation, and there is such a world of vastly different styles that have been explored over the decades of anime's run that you will most likely find something which resonates with you very personally only by searching for it. What are the odds that your favorite anime of all time just happened to come out this year and not in the last 40 years? I've been calling Hiroyuki Imaishi my favorite anime director for like several years now on the basis of Gurren Lagann and Kill La Kill, but I had not seen Dead Leaves. I'd known about that fucking OVA since before I ever knew Imaishi's name. I've known about it since 2003. I watched it 2 weeks ago, and it's like the best thing I've ever fucking seen in my entire life. It's one of the best animated OVAs of all time, a beautiful showcase of everything I love about Imaishi's style, and like also a showcase of all this great animation from Takeshi Koike and all these other fucking people, and it's fucking hilarious and iconic and beautiful, and I hadn't seen it, even though I've known about it for 15 years. There is just always so much more anime to consume. Like, look, have you watched the Sky Crawlers? I know a lot of you probably have, but have you watched the Sky Crawlers? Because I know y'all don't go back to shows that you don't remember from 10 years ago. If you were around when this came out, maybe you checked it out, maybe you didn't, maybe you've got like an idea of it, but are kids talking about the Sky Crawlers today? This is one of my favorite anime movies. It's really fucking deep and interesting. It's by Mamoru Oshii, the guy who directed Ghost in the Shell. People still talk about Ghost in the Shell because it's a classic, but nobody fucking talks about Sky Crawlers, and if it continues this way, this will eventually become a film that, like, no one remembers, even though I think it's one of the best films of the last decade of anime. So, please watch it and talk about it some. There is no reason that you should ever watch any romantic comedy before His and Her Circumstances, because it's the best one. This was the best anime romantic comedy ever made. It was directed by Hideaki Anno of Neon Genesis Evangelion fame, one of the greatest directors alive, recently created Shin Godzilla, which everybody loves. Have you seen His and Her Circumstances? I think he did a better job directing this than he did on Evangelion. And in spite of the fact that the last 8 episodes are a little bit of a clusterfuck and the show doesn't really have an ending because the production fell apart, if you just like think of the first 18 episodes as like the whole show, it's really fulfilling, like a lot more so than any other rom-com that I've ever seen, and I've watched almost fucking all of them. Please, I beseech you, if you are watching some current seasonal rom-com and it's not really doing it for you, go watch Kare Kano and get that, like, that rush of being like, oh right, anime has done cool things, like anime's been cool before. Hideaki Anno used to direct masterpieces on television in the 90s. When I'm like 5 minutes into the first episode of a show like Slow Start that came out this season, that's just like the absolute emblematic idea of a cliche cute girls 4-coma show, like nothing else to it but trying to be that. I have like these acid flashbacks to the time I watched the first 2 episodes of Brigadoon, and this was like the weirdest fucking shit. It's insanely well made. It's like a Sunrise show from the early 2000s. They were like the only studio that was actually doing like really high quality animation at that particular time, because everything looked like fucking shit in the year 2000. But like Brigadoon looks great. So it's probably like the best expression of this particular weird aesthetic that was around in the early 2000s that I think is really charming. And the story is about like this insanely hyperactive little girl who's like in love with a giant robot that looks like he's built for fencing. And I mean, it's like a wacky tone shifting, like tone drifting experience, but I never finished it. I watched a couple of episodes. I thought it was really good. I thought this could be one of my favorite anime one day, and then I put it on hold for the last 10 years. So maybe I'll get around to that one day, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's right, there's cool anime too. You just gotta wait for them sometimes. And look, I'm not saying new anime is bad right now or anything like that. I mean, I just watched Devilman Crybaby. I absolutely loved it. And then, because of it, I went back and watched the Devilman OVA that was made in the 80s. And while that is an unfinished product that can never really truly capture the full beauty of Devilman, it nonetheless is fucking awesome. It's like absolutely incredible, and I enjoyed it pretty much just as much as Devilman Crybaby. So like, because this new show came out and my decision was to go watch an old show afterwards, you know, I basically got to have a double dose of like the same amount of quality from the Devilman franchise. You just like trash, like you just want to watch trash, you can watch old trash. Go watch mai-hime. This one was about like a bunch of cute girls in high school, but they're fighting for like their love interests in like some kind of crazy death battle. I don't fucking remember. Everyone, like, it's real edgy, but like it never stops being like a cutesy moe thing. So it's goofy as shit. I mean, if you're gonna watch Croissant, you might as well watch fucking mai-hime. Like, it's the same fucking thing. This one was better though. I bought this first DVD of Steam Detective ages ago because I had seen trailers for the show and I thought it looked like my aesthetic, but I've never watched this DVD. I've had this forever. I've been meaning to check the show out for 10 years. 10 years. So like, sometimes I think there's nothing to watch, and then sometimes I think, oh god, there's always something to watch. Eureka 7 was one of my top 10 favorite shows for a very long time. I don't think it's really been topped as like a long form action adventure like robot show in the 2000s. This is the best we've had other than Gurren Lagann in this decade, and I think it might have been overshadowed by Gurren Lagann a bit, especially because Eureka 7's a lot longer and it's a lot weirder, but the romance and the things explored in human relationships and communication in this show is definitely noteworthy. It's a worthwhile show for sure. But I mean, if you just want to stick to stuff that you know is good, go read fucking Nazca the manga. Like, this is the only time Hayao Miyazaki ever did a long form story. You've seen his movies. I mean, he did direct the Future Boy Conan adaptation, but that wasn't like his original ideas. This is Hayao Miyazaki built a fully fledged fictional fantasy universe. There are world maps at the start of each fucking book. Well, maybe not at the start of the last book, but there's world maps at the start of most of the books. There's warring empires. There's like a whole mythos, a system of like magic and economy. It's this big war story epic with like a religious undercurrent. Like, this thing's not as long as like Berserk or like a Game of Thrones or something, but like it's that kind of big political fantasy that really goes all the way in on presenting the world in as much detail as possible, because Miyazaki's fucking artwork is ludicrously beautiful. So, you know, you'll never get a new Miyazaki TV show that like has him exploring a whole setting and everything and fleshing out a set of characters over the course of a long narrative. But you can go read Nazca. Like, doesn't that sound like something you want? You know, doesn't that sound cool? Like, wait, you can give me like a long form traditional narrative with like a satisfying arc, and it can be penned by Hayao Miyazaki? That sounds fucking great. I'm just saying, watch your weekly shows or whatever. Watch the stuff you think is actually good that's coming out each season. But if you've got those stragglers on your list that you're just like, oh, you know, I need 5 episodes of stuff to watch on Saturday, so I watch 3 good shows and 2 pieces of complete garbage, go make sure you slot Yu Yu Hakusho. Just like take 2 episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho and throw that into that block every day until you've seen all 112 episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho, because it's worth watching. It's great anime. Anyways, hope you like the videos. I'm putting out a bunch of them. I'm trying out a bunch of different styles. I'm throwing you hard balls and soft balls and left and right balls. Let me know what you think of my balls down in the comments, because they're open again. Bye.